What's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? What the heck is the Iron Dome? What is the Iron Beam? 2 integrated air defense systems enter, and only one can leave? Post-apocalyptic Mad Max references. Is it apropos? We'll find out. Listen, I'm going to break it down for you. If you think it's a giant dome that was built very similar to the one in Vegas, the Sphere, hang tight. I've got your back. I will be right back.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more f***ed up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party.
With this new intro with Still Point playing, I'm not sure what to do. I don't know if I check my phone, drink my coffee, watch the TV, whatever it is. What are direct energy weapons? Are they real? Are they fake? We're going to go into it tonight. I know a lot of people have questions. I've already done a show on do weapons when it came to Maui. But the Iron Dome, a lot of people have questions. They don't quite understand what the Iron Dome is. They know that the United States is giving a crap ton of money to Israel, but they're really not sure what it's for. So I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to break it down for you, but I'm also going to talk about the Iron Beam, which a lot of people have no idea what that is. And no, that's not some sort of structure. That's a singular beam going across Israel. We'll cover that too. But first, let me tell you what's fake. There's a couple videos going around on Twitter and also pretty much all over social media, which are absolutely bunk. I'll show it to you right now. Now, this is the first one, and you look at this and you're seeing some rockets fire off, and then immediately once they leave, you're seeing these pulses very quick. Well, this is actually a video game. This isn't how do weapons work. In fact, they don't work this quickly or effectively, and you wouldn't be hearing the concussions there. If you listen to the small explosions, they're not lining up. Here's the next one. There it is. Now, this one's a lot more convincing. Now, this looks like a Pink Floyd laser light show. But the thing about direct energy weapons is that they don't necessarily work that fast. They take some time to go ahead and melt down their target or get them hot enough so they explode. So when people show these things, of course, they don't understand this. I'll explain it in the video shortly after. But let's talk about the actual Iron Dome. And I don't want to get the two confused. The Iron Dome has been in place for quite a while. Richard Engel did a great video, which I'll show you in a second. But he talks about the Iron Dome's effectiveness. Since the attack started last week, over 4,500 rockets have been fired towards Israel. And according to the IDF, the interception success rate is between 90 and 97%, even actually intercepting mortars and things of that effect, not just rockets. Each intercepted missile costs between 40 to 50,000, but they also have redundancy, which make it closer to 80 to 100,000. But we're splitting hairs. The point is, it has saved thousands of lives, which is the point. We're going to go ahead and walk through a few of the photographs you may have seen. The one on the bottom left here, where there's a dome over the black and white, I think sometimes that's what people actually think it is that Israel is this, and Palestine and Jerusalem are all these tiny little specks of land, and they are relatively small, Israel being roughly the size of New Jersey, and Gaza being Rhode Island or even a little bit smaller than that. But the point being is that you can't physically put a dome over. This isn't Spaceballs where somebody comes in and has to have the magic password, especially if they're from Druidia. But the photos that are real are on the top right here, where you'll see an exposure opened up on a camera, and you see these long lines of the reflective properties of the burners on the back of these rockets. It is an incredible system. I've got some video to show you which will really put it in perspective, and then I'll break down how the Iron Dome works and then also how the Iron Beam works. Here's a video.
You can see it streaking in the sky right now, turning.
So this is the video from Richard Engel, and what he is showing you is a rocket that is taken off, and now it's going to do its point of turn to lock onto target that it wants to hit. And based upon geosynchronous data or a GPS location, or honestly a homing device or some laser guided type missiles, which Hamas does not have, you will go ahead and get your pinpoint accuracy to be that of somewhere around a square city block or a pinhead. Some of these things are incredibly accurate. But the Hamas rockets will usually launch and then turn direction. Once these directional turns happen and these course corrections happen, you will see the Iron Dome take effect and hit each one of these individual rockets. Watch this.
There's another. This is being launched from a different site. Now you'll start to see the Iron Dome system taking them off. You see the
You may not be excited, but this is great. I mean, just to see something like this. And if you guys understood how difficult 20 years ago it was to intercept rockets, even 35 years ago, when we look at the Star Wars system and things to that effect, it's not an easy feat. And we saw this with Scud missiles in the Gulf that would come over, and the Patriot success rate was nominal at best. But the IAD system from Iron Dome is an amazing accomplishment, and to see 90% attrition rate from these incoming projectiles is incredible. This next video will blow you away. This one's incredible.
וואו, 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 תראה, אתה לא רואה. אתה רואה את זה?
It looks like something out of Independence Day.
הנה, עכשיו, חכה.
Can you look at that? I mean, look at it, just snuff out all of these. It's an amazing system. And truth behold, you've got about 3 or 4 that actually made it through there out of what? 25, 30 projectiles. It's pretty impressive what it does. And the interesting thing is business still operates. People go to work, people drive their cars, rockets going off. And of course, there is some, times where some of these rocket fuselage and some pieces actually fall down. But most of these things are blown up in their trajectory. So the question is, everyone's talking about this Iron Dome upgrade. Okay, first thing, is it real? Yes. The Iron Beam is most assuredly real. Has it been deployed? Yes. IDF is saying that it has been deployed at a very small scale because its effectiveness and its efficacy is not necessarily the strongest. I have a video that I'm going to break down for you, and I will walk through. It's a couple minutes, and it will really explain what the Iron Dome is and give you all, or excuse me, the Iron Beam is, and give you all the facts on it. Here it is. This laser weapon can strike targets such as drones, rockets, and mortars, and can do so for a fraction of the price of other missile-powered defense systems. The Iron Beam is an experimental project built by Israel. It could be used in conjunction with the Iron Dome, which launches rockets, and is considered one of the most advanced air defense systems in the world. Israel says the Iron Beam could enhance protection against threats from Iran's allies in Lebanon and Gaza. The Iron Beam is composed of a laser gun located on a swiveling unit, a surveillance system that tracks incoming threats, and a command center where operators give directions. Israeli officials say that the laser gun fires a beam that uses 100 kilowatts of power. That's around 100 times the typical electrical power that a household in the US uses. Here's what it looks like in action. The footage from the Israeli defense minister shows the laser striking down a rocket. Israel's goal is to integrate this weapon into its arsenal and also save some money. That's according to military analysts who say the laser would allow the country's army to reduce its reliance on the more expensive Iron Dome. One interceptor missile fired from the Iron Dome can cost $50,000 or more. In contrast, Israel's departing Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said the Iron Beam could be the same thing for as little as $2. The issue is that the system sensors can be hampered in rainy and cloudy conditions. That means the Iron Beam may not be operational in Israel in colder months, such as November and December. If the weather prevents it from working, Israel's defense ministry says the Iron Dome could kick in. Another vulnerability is said to be its range the beam loses. Power travels through the air, making its impact on the target less powerful. It's known as the bloom effect, but if the laser starts blooming and widens up, the result is it becomes so diluted it doesn't have an effect. And then there's the speed at which it can take down objects. The period of dwell time before the laser damages its targets makes it slower than the Iron Dome. But every time you push the button, your beam touches the rocket at the speed of light. But then you have to keep pumping energy into the missile until it melts or explodes. That process could take a few seconds and hamper its ability to combat multiple incoming rockets at once. The more the kilowatts of power the system has, the farther the laser can strike targets. Although laser makers in the US and Israel say the range of laser weapons can vary widely, also depending on the type of target. The Iron Beam is designed to detect small targets up to 12.4 miles away. And although the Iron Beam has a ton of potential, it does not solve the problem for Israel right now, which is the capabilities of the Iron Dome being longer, more effective, and more consistent in its design. I hope that clears some things up, giving you the nuts straight, just the facts. It's a radar that detects incoming rockets, and both the Iron Beam and the Iron Dome are synonymous in that way. They both share a very similar tracking system. They have a command and control system that determines the threat level of the rocket and decides if it's going to go over course or splash in the ocean, and then may not necessarily go ahead and strike countermeasures for that. Both of them share the same thing. And the interceptor that the system determines, if human lives or the infrastructure are at risk, it will seek to destroy the incoming rocket, but then also make that split-second decision as to not hit that rocket. That's something that the Iron Dome currently doesn't do. Although it does have a threat assessment, it doesn't do it as fast as the Iron Beam. Another interesting fact is that all of these parts, most of them, in fact, 55%, according to the Center for Strategic International Studies, says that 55% of the components are currently made in the United States, which explains why a lot of the funds are coming from your tax dollars to pay for these. 8 Democratic representatives, Rashid Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, Cori Bush, Andre Carson, Maria Newman, and Jesus Garcia, also Raul Grajavali, whatever the hell his name is, and one Republican who you might be surprised, Tom Massey, voted against the supplemental funding. The 2 Democrats, Hank Johnson and Ocasio-Cortez, although she cried about it horribly, and she cried about it horribly because she was faking, abstained from the vote. Guess if it wasn't that important to begin with. Weapons, direct energy weapons, are cool, but they're not necessarily effective and scalable yet. They take the size of a small house to power these things, and a lot of people are saying that they are actually used in jets and used in satellites. Unfortunately, not yet. Soon, but not yet. The Iron Dome is the best integrated air defense system on the planet. It is leaps and bounds above anything. And although the Iron Beam will help assist and is a great secondary ancillary system, it doesn't necessarily stand alone on itself yet. It saved thousands of lives, and we can look at the amount of people who were harmed in Israel, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and southern Israel. And of course, you want to save as many lives as possible. The Iron Dome is not an offensive weapon, although a lot of people are saying it is, and it can be used to attack Hamas and Palestinians, and this is the furthest thing from the truth. It is a defense system. That is the name of it. It's an integrated air defense system, and it only retaliates when there is a threat and not necessarily when somebody pushes the button. Folks, I hope that helps clear it up. It at least cleared it up for me. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. If you liked what you saw, please give me a like, share, follow, and subscribe. And if you didn't, well, come back tomorrow. You may like it better then. Stop by the Don't Unfriend Me store at thedumbshow.com. Pick yourself up some hats, some t-shirts, some coffee. And we'll see you tonight live, 8 o'clock, when Olivia and I sit down, along with Leroy and Amy, to discuss what's going on in the world today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.